Hi there, I'm Tracy Johnson from Learn to Make Cheese on Facebook. It doesn't matter if your milk comes from one of these or one of these. You can make cheese at home. And I'm going to show you how to make cream cheese today. Okay, so your recipe. You'll need 4 litres or 1 gallon of full cream milk. Now you can sub out up to a quarter of that with heavy cream if you want a really creamy recipe. Just make sure you have 4 litres in total. 1/8 teaspoon of buttermilk culture or mesophilic, a ½ teaspoon of calcium chloride in a 1/4 cup of non-chlorinated water, if you're not using raw milk, 6 drops of rennet in 10 mils of non-chlorinated water, and salt and herbs to taste. If you're using raw milk or milk that hasn't been homogenized, then 4 litres of full cream milk. You would half the culture, so you'd be using 1/16 of a teaspoon of buttermilk or alternative mesophilic culture. Leave out the calcium chloride completely for raw milk, and you would use 1/3 less rennet, so we're going with 4 drops instead of 6. We're going to heat the milk to 86F, which is 30C. Add your culture, add your calcium chloride, stir well, add your rennet, and stir for no more than 45 seconds. We're going to leave that in the pot to coagulate for 12 to 24 hours. And just like chèvre, the surface of the milk will be covered in whey when it's ready. So after 12 hours, you can see that there is a layer of whey sitting on top of the entire cheese. That means we're ready. So what we need to do is spoon this into a colander that's lined with butter muslin. If you use regular cheesecloth, it will just run through the holes. You need something that's a tighter weave. And you want to drain that for between 1 and 3 hours. If you want it drier and crumbly, then drain it longer. If you want it more creamy and spreadable, then drain it shorter. I find that 2 hours works really well for me with pasteurized but non-homogenized goat's milk. You're going to have to work out which is your favorite, and you are done. Now that you've drained your cheese into your cheesecloth, if you tie the 4 corners, tie opposite corners to make a bag, and I just use a wooden spoon over a pot. As long as it's not touching the bottom, you're fine. And just leave it there to drain for 1 to 3 hours. You can then either use it as a spreadable, or you can get a little creative with it. Mix in some salt and garlic, use it as a boursin, or you can mix in some salt and garlic, roll it into balls, and then roll the outside in cracked black pepper and make a kind of a bel pecanoli. There's all sorts of things you can do with cream cheese. What I intend to do is roll these into logs and roll them in herbs on the outside. Oregano works really well. Rosemary and thyme always go well. It depends what you want to do with it. You can stuff peppers with it. You can use it in lasagna. There's literally nothing you can't do with cream cheese.